Hey everyone and welcome. So you're getting ready for the cut psychology exam today. We're not just going to study for it. We're going to crack its code. We are diving deep into a smart, data-driven strategy based on past exam patterns, all to make sure that every single minute you spend preparing really counts. Let's get into it. So, have you had that moment where you look at the entire syllabus and just feel that wave of anxiety hit you? Trust me, you are not alone. It's a huge amount of information to cover. But what if I told you there's a smarter way to tackle it? A way to focus your energy where it'll have the biggest impact, especially if you're feeling the pressure of the clock. Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out today. Okay, before we go any further, a really important disclaimer: the strategy we're about to talk about is all based on a careful analysis of previous year's papers. It is a fantastic way to prepare smartly, especially if you're in a time crunch. And this is important, if you do have the time, the absolute gold standard is and always will be to cover the entire syllabus. We're here to be smart, but also to be thorough. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll crack the exams code. Then we'll zoom in on the type of question that matters most. We'll break down which topics are high, medium, and low priority. After that, I'm going to introduce you to an incredible tool to put all this into practice. And finally, I'll point you to some more awesome resources in our cut series. Sound good? Let's go. Alright, first things first. If you want to win any game, you have to know the rules. And for the cut psychology exam, that means understanding its DNA. We need to figure out what it is really testing you on. Now take a look at this. This is the secret sauce right here. A massive 45%. Nearly half of the entire exam is conceptual application. This is so important. It tells us that this exam is not just a test of memorization. It's about applying what you know. Sure, comprehension, matching, and definitions are in there, but application, that's the king. So, what in the world is conceptual application? Well, it's pretty simple. It's about taking a theory, like one from Freud or Carl Rogers, and using it to make sense of a real world situation. They give you a question. It's the difference between just knowing the definition of cognitive dissonance and actually spotting it in a story about someone's conflicting actions. Okay, so we know application is the name of the game. How do we build our study plan around that? We're going to use a simple but super powerful idea, the 60-25-15 priority rule. This is how you're going to manage your most important resource, your time, for the biggest possible payoff. And this chart shows you exactly how it works. You're going to spend a solid 60% of your study time on the high priority topics, the ones that give you the most bang for your buck. Then about 25% goes to medium priority topics, and a quick focused 15% is for everything else. This makes sure you're not wasting time on things that won't show up as much. So what are these high priority units? Here they are. Unit 1 on variations and attributes, Unit 2 on self and personality, and Unit 5 on therapeutic approaches. Now just look at the math here. By really truly mastering just these 3 units, you are covering a potential 52% of the entire paper. Just let that sink in for a second. That is a total game changer. So it's clear we have to master these high priority topics. But how? It's not enough to just read the chapters over and over. Let's walk through a couple of quick mini tutorials to see how to study them in a way that actually works. Let's take Freud's psychosexual stages from Unit 2. This is a classic topic that comes up a lot, especially in sequencing questions. Now you could try to just memorize the order, or you could use a mnemonic. Just remember this silly phrase, old animals play loud games. O for oral, A for anal, P for phallic, L for latency, and G for genital. It's simple, it's memorable, and it will save you so much stress in the exam. Alright, now for a different kind of problem. This is a classic conceptual application scenario from Unit 5 all about ethics. So imagine this, a therapist is treating a pilot. The pilot admits they have a medical issue that causes them to have blackouts, but they refuse to tell their airline because they're afraid of losing their job. So what's the therapist supposed to do? Is their number one job to protect their client's confidentiality no matter what? Or is there something bigger at stake? Just take a second and think about it. This is exactly the kind of tough, real-world question the Q exam loves to ask. And here is the key. The principle they're testing you on is that confidentiality isn't absolute. It has limits. When there is a clear and immediate danger to the public, and a pilot who might black out in the cockpit is definitely that, the therapist's duty to protect can actually override their duty to keep a secret. The exam wants to know you understand that gray area, not just the black and white rule. Awesome. We've tackled the high priority stuff. Now, let's talk strategy for the medium and low priority topics. The name of the game here is efficiency. We want to cover the main ideas without getting lost in the weeds. For example, from the medium priority unit 3, meeting life challenges, you have to know the difference between eustress and distress. This slide makes it super clear. Eustress is good. Stress, like the excitement you feel before a race, that actually helps you perform better. Distress is bad. Stress, that crushing anxiety that just makes everything harder. Knowing this basic difference is often all you need to answer a question correctly. Another big concept from Unit 3 is the hardiness personality, which is defined by the 3 C's. It's a simple framework. Commitment is about being involved in life, not feeling isolated. Control is believing you can influence what happens to you, that you're not just helpless. And challenges, seeing change as a chance to grow, not as something scary. Mastering these core ideas is what smart revision looks like for the low priority topics. Just aim for familiarity. A quick review a week or so before the exam is plenty. Okay, we have laid out the perfect strategy, the 60-25-15 rule, a laser focus on conceptual application and smart revision techniques. We know the what and the how. But now we get to the most important part of all, actually doing it right. Because having a great plan is one thing, but how do you actually use it every day? How do you figure out your specific weak spots in Unit 2 or practice only conceptual questions for Unit 5? How do you really know if all your hard work is paying off? Well, this is where a tool like Ease2Learn's AI-powered platform becomes your best friend. It's literally built to help you execute this strategy. The Gap Fixer is like a personal diagnostician telling you exactly where you're struggling. Got it. Doubt at 2 a.m., Tony, your 24/7 AI buddy is right there to explain it. PaceX helps you get faster and more accurate. The exam room gives you realistic mock tests, and the reports show you your progress every step of the way. It's a completely transparent and methodical way to prepare. But let me be perfectly clear about this. Ease2Learn isn't magic. It is not a replacement for your hard work and your own. Starting with insert and your notes, think of it as a force multiplier. It takes the effort you are already putting in and makes it so much smarter, faster, and more effective. Honestly, even if you're going to coaching classes, this is a must-have tool to supercharge your results. We've gone deep on psychology today, but this whole idea of smart preparation doesn't just stop here. We've actually applied this same analytical method to a ton of other subjects to help you ace your exams across the board. So whether you're also taking English, the general test, economics, physics, business studies, history, you name it, we've got a smart guide just like this, one waiting for you. Definitely check them out to apply these same powerful strategies to all of your subjects. So there you have it. You've got a clear data-backed strategy. You've got the smart techniques, and you know about the AI power tools that can help you execute it perfectly. The only question left is, are you ready to transform your prep from something that feels overwhelming into something that feels truly empowering? You can do this. You've got this.